it's Maya from Crypto Beta Cafe. I know it has been a while since I've made a YouTube video. I've been allocating a lot of my time to focusing full time on development and then more on my TikTok and Instagrams, but I will post more on YouTube. That is my goal for the month of June and the rest of May. So the context of this video is Ledger. So I made a TikTok and Instagram post about how they attempted to announce the recovery program. And I was very shocked by it because the whole concept of Ledger is your keys not leave the device. And I just think conceptually, like creating a device and then communicating with two other entities to receive it in case of emergency while submitting your identity goes against the core thesis of having a hardware wallet. It's supposed to protect your keys and be private. And obviously, like whatever you do outside of that, like, sending it to Coinbase or something, you would obviously like identify, but it's just like I don't feel the need to submit additional identity when there's not really very many transactions coming out of it. Like none of that to me is logical. Like why? And I don't know. The issue was the way it was done too. The CEO was very nonchalant about it and seemed to be like, oh, whatever, like this is for our new customers. And it's like, okay, well, your old customers are the ones that are recommending new customers because we feel safe with the security parameters of a hardware device from Ledger. So the energy to me was just like really weird. Like, and remember, Ledger is based in Europe. Mica has recently been released, and they're trying to push to have every single transaction linked to an identity. If there was their way of soft doing that, they should have said that and blamed it on Micah. Then my approach, I would have been more sympathetic. Like they didn't really think about this, but this is the best technological tech solutions they can come with. Okay, fair. Maybe their hands were tied, right? But then they had to have this attitude of, oh, it's for new users, you can opt in. And then on top of that, it's like a $9.99 fee. And I was reading other people's posts that were saying like, oh, if you happen to miss a payment, like let's say you switch debit cards and it doesn't pay, it'll disconnect you from that access. Yet they still have the information, and you have to pay like a fee, a reservicing fee to get communicated with. It's not paid in crypto. It's just too many. I don't know. I feel like a recovery service shouldn't be charged, first of all, because it's like I no. And then if they really wanted to implement this, it should have been for a specific device. But I don't think it should have been a paid additional service also. Like that's kind of grifty. Like, I don't know. And then I think they also needed to explain the way in which the sharding of the keys works, because that to me is, I don't know. I think any situation where the key is reconfigured, a third party, at I think it's another facility. It was an unknown party, Ledger, and then Coin Blocker, another company of that name, which I'm not familiar with. And either one of those could be compromised within that. So I would really love to understand their thought process. So now they're saying they're going to be open source, but like I don't think that's the solution. And they're kind of just blaming it on their marketing. At the end of the day, it was inappropriate to release this when the whole concept behind it is your keys do not leave the device. So their response to me was very rude. It was just like very like whatever. But then like, when everyone's questioning you and saying, why would you think of doing this? And like, their level of comfort with it really bugs me. So I'm not condemning them as a company. I just think their mindset is kind of questionable. For them to go through with a marketing release set and think that this was something that, like, and I'm going to also say this to new users, you guys can custody your own keys. I don't think that it takes lack of intelligence. It's like you have two choices. You can let someone else hold your keys, and if something happens, be at risk to have your crypto compromised. Okay. If you want to believe them and think that you're not intelligent enough to custody your keys, or you can, step it up and just be independent and sovereign, and that's what we're here for. But do not let this narrative go that everyday people cannot custody their own keys. I don't believe that's inherently true. And maybe there needs to be better user experience for viewing your keys, but that can be done. Like we can still make advancements. I just don't think having a third party being able to send you back the shards or the re-encrypted version of your keys is the solution. It's not the solution. And unfortunately, I think they're still going to go through with this. I don't know how. So I just want to, yeah, it's just a really weird situation, and I'm very disappointed. But you know, centralized organization is going to be centralized. So now I am going to read a letter from the CEO. So this is Paul Gauthier. He is the current chairman and CEO of Ledger. And I highlighted another video where he just flat out said, well, if the companies were subpoenaed by a US government entity or any government entity, we obviously would have to turn it over. But we, you know, we can't control that. It's a rarity if that happened. And I'm like, no, like, I mean, the whole point of us self-custodying and keeping our private keys, obviously not because we're doing anything nefarious, but like there is due process. Like I don't think they're able just to seize our keys without due process or proving that we're criminals, because it comes into a weird space where we don't have financial laws or consent in this space because it's such a new space. And it's like, why would you want to give a government agency the tools and resources to do that? You know, it's just like, it's weird. And I'm not saying that because people want to do, but like the comfortability level with that is just very odd to me. Everyone, I want to address the concern over Ledger Recover, the way it was announced and shared with you to improve the path forward. Over the past 2 years, Ledger, we have made great strides towards our mission of underpinning the world of digital assets with security and bringing more people on board with success to feature through easy to use experiences, all without ever compromising security. This is what we continue to do with Ledger Recover, provided by CoinCover. That is the third-party company that probably suggested this idiocracy of a concept. By our unintentional communication mistake, took over everyone by surprise and affected our customers' ability to accurately understand Ledger Recover. Nope, we understood it. It's just not, no. Its role for the growing crypto community, for Ledger's future offering. We apologize the way it was communicated. We never meant to surprise you. In fact, this is exactly what we've been talking about the product publicly for well over a year. We have learned a lot from this experience, and we will see in the future communications. We believe wholeheartedly in the need for a service like Ledger Recover. Those of us who have been in the space for a long time, and over a decade in my case, have responsibility to ensure everyone that can be self-sovereign and can have self-custody over their digital value, which everyone can and should have. And again, sorry, pause video. So listening to these people is exactly why people deposit their crypto into Anchor, exactly why people deposit their crypto into Celsius, because you didn't think you could custody your keys. Look at the results of that. Do not ever let someone tell you you cannot custody your own keys. They want to custody it for you for a reason. I don't like that. This is the ethos of crypto. It is the main point for crypto self-custody adoption is precisely the problem of seed phrase recovery. The majority of users in crypto today either don't own their private keys or are putting their private keys at risk in less secure forms of self-custody or hard to use forms of storing and securing their seed phrase. I will repeat, our mission is to make crypto secure and easy to use. We need to do this together in the right ways. What is the solution going forward? Security always, and increased transparency. Ledger never compromises on security. Ledger is the only certified hardware wallet selected by Consumer Reports as the best hardware wallet to reinforce security experts. We have almost a decade of experience of your private keys that govern your assets with uncompromising quality and improvement. When it comes to security and resilience, over time is essential. Our Donjon security team is committed to review not only Ledger's firmware and hardware updates, but that of the entire ecosystem with full autonomy from Ledger leadership. That will never change. Now let's increase transparency. The vast majority of Ledger's code base is already open source. Open source isn't necessarily a security feature. Ledger co-founder Edlic Lavachier wrote a clear and accurate tweet explaining this if you'd like to dive deeper into the topic, but it's definitely a transparency feature that opens developers and security experts to review the code that isn't. I don't know how true that is. Like, it's close. It was known as closed source, so I want to get back to that. Yeah, I want to touch on that later. It's, I don't know why you said that because it's not entirely true. Whatever. Get back to that. Today, 150 Ledger Nano applications, Ledger Live, and a portion of the operating system. You can explore the code on GitHub here. It's open source. The applications in Ledger Live is open source, but not the devices. I don't feel like this is always here. I feel like this is recently, but I have to confirm. We are doing all of this to move forward to bring security and self-custody to our next wave of crypto users. We listen to our customers and we're celebrating the roadmap that has been in progress regardless. The security of your ledger remains unchanged. Remember, we're doing this more for transparency going forward. It's not changing the security of your device. If you want to add additional measures to enable to prevent unauthorized access to your funds, you could enable a passphrase feature, which is not included in the ledger recovery backup and can be fully trustable feature. I don't know about that. Ledger has not always been open source. I don't know why he's saying that. Yeah, Ledger wasn't open source. So like, I love that they put all this stuff because they got in trouble, but like, it wasn't open source. I just feel like they're like really gaslighting everyone. And I don't like that. It wasn't open source, but I guess it's open source now. I just don't know. I don't like how they said, oh, it's always been open source. And that's inherently not true, but it's totally fine. So I guess you can now review the source code. If you want to, it's in GitHub, and I'll probably add it to this video so you can check it out yourself. Okay, so let me know your thoughts in the comments, how you felt about the situation, if you felt misled, if you felt the response was appropriate or correct, or was it kind of like a gaslighting attempt? Because I feel like it was a gaslighting attempt, not to be rude to them. I highly support Ledger. That's why I'm just being like really critical at this time, because it just seems out of character for them. And if they would have admitted that it was something that they were required to do by law, European Union law, sure, I get it. You guys are compromised in terms of what you can and cannot do. You want to remain a viable source of hardware protection for users, sure. But if it was just like, oh, this is what we did, it's kind of sketchy. So I hope. So the recover thing, the only thing that make me, they need a decentralized key storage or key sharding. I don't even think this is a good solution for it. Maybe find a way to shorten the amount of key phrases. Like if you think it's that hard, just make it 10 keywords or something like that. Like I think there should be other physical solutions that don't involve using third parties. Third parties is an added risk that you cannot control the variable with. And there's also people that are very good on the other side of hacking and tech. And to add a third party gives a different party a window to utilize that. So let's just not do that. And if key storage could be done in a decentralized manner, maybe do that. But trusting a centralized entity when centralized entities have been known to do weird stuff when involved in a third party scenario, like didn't Fireblocks like lose a bunch of the Fireblocks combined with like Celsius, they lost the keys to a multitude of crypto wallets and it was like 200. So those things could happen. Like things have happened when third parties, even though they're supposed to be trusted custody service, have gotten involved. And I think the risk of involving them outweighs the risk of someone not properly inputting their keys. We just need to get it together in this community. And that's simply it. And we just need to do a better job of onboarding and educating people. So please let me know your thoughts. And thank you for watching this video. Okay, bye guys. Please like this video and please subscribe to us on Instagram and TikTok if you want daily news. Bye.